I want to start with a verse from Philippians 1. I thank my God every time I remember you, constantly praying with joy in every one of my prayers for all of you, because of your sharing in the gospel from the first day until now. This synod meeting is the final one of the current triennium, and there's no cheering. And so I need to begin my presidential address with thanksgiving. Thank you to each of you to the gift of your time, your commitment, prayer, engagement with Diocesan Synod, and for many of you, Deanery Synods and PCCs as well. Sharing in the gospel as disciples of Jesus may take many forms, and you may not know it, but synods are one of them. It can be hard to turn out on a precious Saturday or a dark evening for synods. But what we do here is intimately related to how we develop our ways of being the people of God in the diocese, in our parishes, and sharing that faith. Your worship together, prayers, questions, scrutiny, engagement, finances, strategy, and pastoral care of the churches beyond the doors and our time here help us grow. Even now, the Diocesan Synod nominations are being still sought in some deaneries, and I would encourage you to prayerfully consider your own future involvement or proposing another with their permission. The next triennium will be the triennium of the first one with our diocesan bishop, so it's a key triennium, and I believe a significant next phase of our journey. So we need all of your gifts, your insights, chaplaincies, parishes, wherever you're from. We also need your challenge as we find a way of engaging as synod that accesses all the gifts and insights that you bring. So the first thing I need you to hear is thank you. The next triennium will be shaped by all we've laid out in a diocesan statement of needs, which we sent out last week to the widest circulation we can possibly have and can be found on the diocesan website. Can you wave to me if you've seen it? Okay, that's most of you. Let me just. If you haven't seen it, it looks like that. You can look at it on the website. I'm just looking at the comms, which I think is true. So do look at it from there. And it's lovely that the majority of you have been able to find it. As you know, we have consulted widely. We have genuinely sought to hear as many voices as we could, as we discern prayerfully the shape of our next diocesan bishop, the Bishop of Durham. And I am deeply thankful, I can't say that enough, I am deeply thankful for the work of our Vacancy and C committee, who really worked hard, and especially our drafting group, who brought all those various strands of consultation into this thought-provoking document. I will confess there was one evening I went home, I lay in bed and I thought, I have no idea how we will get this done in time, but we have. Could I ask the Vacancy and C committee who are here if you'd like to stand? Please stand, those of you who are on. So you can see there are many others as well, but would you like to give them a clap? Thank you, and this is being recorded, so I hope the other members who aren't here will also hear that as well. For those of you who've been able to read it, the Statement of Needs sets out the challenges that we face, but also the foundations already in place to build upon, of which the transformations agenda that we have spent the morning working on is a key part of. The diocesan who comes will need to join us on this journey. It's not a new journey, it's this journey that we have been making our way on, and enable us on building on our foundations to address the challenges and to help us to see what we may not be noticing. Of course, the national church also have an ask of the Bishop of Durham, and a separate consultation done by the Archbishop's appointment secretary and the number 10 appointment secretary has also taken place. And it is from those two documents that the role description for the Bishop of Durham comes to be described and formed. We have 6 elected people to represent the diocese, to represent us, to represent the consultation in our document, Statement of Needs, on the Crown Nomination Committee. There are 6 more who are elected by General Synod, and the 2 archbishops as well. So there is 14 people on the appointment secretary, but we have 6. Those 6 are Val Barron, Jamie Harrison, Mark Miller, Rick Simpson, Francis Stenlake and Mags Vaughan, 3 of whom are here, 3 of whom aren't either as well. And they're elected by single transferable vote. I won't even begin to tell you how complicated that is. And we're very grateful to Paul for his computer program that enabled us to do that. So could if Mags and Francis and Mark would just give a wave. So because these are 3. So if you've got anything to say to them before they leave today, you can. And 3 more. The interviews for the diocesan bishops is on the 28th and 29th of November. It can feel from this point that all of this is happening somewhere else, but actually we are all still involved, and especially as we pray. And if we struggle to know how to pray, then we pray that thy kingdom come and thy will be done. That's part of what we're seeking. There are 2 diocesan prayers also, which are part of this, one which is written by the Children's Council and one which is used by the for diocesan things. I'll use that at the end as we do. We will be praying for our reps at an evensong that we can hopefully get 6 people to, and I'm looking at the Dean to find some dates together for that. And we'll communicate that date so as many people as possible can be there, because they are there for us and for the statement of needs that we have done. We also intend to hold a 24-hour prayer vigil by the invitation of the Dean at Durham Cathedral, complemented by parish events during the period the interviews are being held. And I'm still trying to imagine what it will be like to be in the cathedral at 3 o'clock in the morning. There may be too many of us who want to be there then, but it's a real chance. And this is Philip's idea, and I think that's a great thing. But it's something for the whole diocese and for people to be able to come to the cathedral, but also pray within their own places. Completing the statement of needs has been the focus of this first period of our vacancy in C, and has rightly been the focus of time and energy. But we are now able to look forward. We've had our presentation on transformation from Amy and Duncan and Engaged, and there's much there which will have been thought-provoking and is a work in progress. What I want to celebrate today is the hopefulness of the funding streams that we've been able to access. We are a diocese that does not have the historic assets that allow us, over and above parish share, to be able to fund new work. And this is what we've been able to access through the work that's taken place. And that is something that is not just unique to us, but many of the provinces, that diocese in the northern province. So we're really grateful for what we have as well within that. When a parish profile now goes out to a prospective person looking at an incumbency, this is what we've written, and part I've written at the beginning. So I say, this is an exciting time. I realise exciting is used a lot, but I genuinely think that this is an exciting time to be exploring joining the diocesan family in Durham Diocese. We are on a cusp of a fresh chapter in our mission and ministry together. We are currently discerning with the National Church who will be the next Bishop of Durham, called to lead us as we seek to make real our vision for transformation we so desire across our diocese. We are deeply encouraged that the National Church has demonstrated confidence in our vision through the commitment of national transformation funding. That is what we want to communicate to those who are seeking to come and be appointed, whether that's lay or ordained, into our diocese. This is a good time to come and be with us, and the future is a future of opportunity for us as God's people in this place at this time. Yet. There's always a yet. I didn't put but. Yet. Yet we have to keep our heads up and we have to focus on the strands of development ongoing at the moment which are key to the life of our church. As a diocese, alongside the cathedral, we will receive a major external audit of our safeguarding systems and practices, both at a diocesan and parish level, early next year. And we do welcome that opportunity. In the 26 years I've been ordained in the Church of England, we have made enormous strides towards enabling the safety of all God's children. And by God's children, I mean that regardless of age, old and young, who are vulnerable, creating a safer church. And we continue to work on a culture where we each live the truth that safeguarding is everybody's responsibility and is at the heart of who we are and is at the heart of the gospel that we share. Survivors' voices have enabled us to hear and not to look away from the appalling cost that is paid when our culture and systems and sometimes leadership fail. So we welcome all that helps us to grow and to be confident in our safeguarding responsibilities. It is a significant piece of work. We also continue on our journey of living in love and faith. What a title. Within the diocese, I'm aware that I think probably a small number of parishes have utilised the prayers of blessing very quietly within worship. As the acting Bishop of Durham, I was at the House of Bishops this week where further work took place as preparations are made for the next debate and discussion at General Synod in July. Do pray for our General Synod reps, as these really are hard and demanding debates. We have some Synod reps here. Would you like to stand so people can see who you are? We have two more as well who aren't here. One which is Chantel, and who am I missing? And it's Helen. Helen's gone home. And Jamie. Okay. So if you'd like to, and Angus. Some people won't know those, but you've got four. Again, if you have something to say with the four of them, do talk to them before they go home as well. But they really are hard and demanding debates, really searching. I am also deeply encouraged. May and June are always key months for us in terms of vocation. These past 2 weeks, I have held end of curacy assessments with 14 of our curates. We have one more still to come, all of which have now completed their training. They've finished their curacies and they are ready for the next phase of ministry. Deeply fruitful time. The indication of the change of times we are in, we have had 3 curates on maternity leave, 4 curates on paternity leave, and 4 babies born. I'll let you do those figures. At the ordinations on June the 29th and 30th at the Cathedral, we will be ordaining 8 deacons and 13 priests. And we are at the moment seeing in a few weeks the ordinands who are preparing to agree where to serve their curacies in this diocese. And Andy, who played for us, was one of them as well. And it's a joy seeing people committing themselves to the future of the Church of England, but also Durham Diocese. It's echoed across our diocese in confirmations, in the licensings of lay and ordained ministry. There is so much to encourage. There's one picture that stays particularly with me from a confirmation. So on Saturday night, I was at St. Margaret's, Durham, once I'd managed to park and hadn't gone around the one-way system 3 times. I understand that St. Margaret's was built from the stone left over from the cathedral, which makes it still a very ancient church and has been used for generations as well within there. At the back of the church, there is a font, and it's one of those great Norman fonts. It's huge, it's a really huge font, wide and deep, deep enough to plunge your baby under the waters by full immersion, which in many generations has been the way that infant baptism took place, and by full immersion within the font as well from there. No sprinkling, absolutely under the water and up of the water, as it is in Romans, as Paul speaks to us of baptism as well. And the font Barney had filled with water. It was almost overflowing and dancing in the light. And one of those who came for confirmation also needed to be baptized. And he was a 20-year-old student. And I also use a lot of water, so I was pouring the water over his head as I did the baptism as well. But as I stood there, I was caught by the image of this font over 900 years old and this 20-year-old student now here in Durham. And the sense of the people of all ages, all backgrounds, over all these generations, over all these ages, who have come to the waters of baptism, that God has constantly been calling to add to our number those who are going to be part of the people of God. And every time we baptize, that continues. Every time we confirm, that continues. And in those moments when you hear negativity about the church, hold that image. 900 years, and in some places like Jarrow, 1300 years of people coming for baptism and serving God in the world in which we are. We are both part of that ancient tradition and finding new ways to share the overflowing waters of baptism within there. And sometimes those called to our baptism, those who are called added to our number, have been refugees and asylum seekers. And the truth of their baptism has been called into question, especially in Darlington recently. And many of you will have seen Archdeacon Rick's work strongly refuting that claim. So today in Durham Diocese, we continue to welcome anyone, young and old, refugee or asylum seekers. And where there is desire, we share faith. And where there is faith, we baptize and we confirm. And where we have baptized and confirmed, we disciple and we send them out to share the good news of Jesus Christ, that the next generation may know that as well. There is so much to encourage us, even in the midst of the work we need to do. Yeah. Thank you. That was unexpected. And finally, I want to register my thanks. These 3 months have been incredibly busy. And if you are one of the emails stuck in my enormous email box, I apologise. It will emerge eventually. But I want to register my thanks to especially Bishop's leadership team and to other colleagues, to our parish communities who are nurtured by chaplains as well, across school chaplains, across the whole of our diocese, for the support and prayers during this time of vacancy. It's a grace to me, a grace and a gift to be the acting diocesan. And I do feel that whoever the next diocesan is, they join us on the journey. And we are there to enable them to bring to us what we do not already have. They should be value added in a sense to us. It's a grace to me to be the acting diocesan, but I also know that I am a part of a really strong team that extends across our diocese, stewarding our diocese during this time to arrive at the next key point in our journey. So my prayer is that God's blessing will remain with us, but we will hold that image of the flowing rivers of the Holy Spirit, who is at work in ways we see and don't see, but is also flowing out of our hearts as believers. Thank you.